Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next edition of Santa Rosa Week. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson.
And you certainly have found us on Channel 27 Mediacom, and every Saturday, 4:30 to 5. And all of our shows can also be found on YouTube. If you will do a search for Santa Rosa Week, you'll find us, and you could sit at your house and look at our shows at your leisure. They're broken down into about 8 or 9 minutes. Each show will be 3 segments. So.
Commercial free.
Commercial free, no commercials. And
sadly for us.
But by the way, we're commercial free also. We try to really pack in the full 30 minutes for you. Ladies and
if
gentlemen,
somebody wants to put their commercial on this show, they can. It's available.
Yeah, we'll squeeze in a minute or two for a commercial. Absolutely. So today, ladies and gentlemen, at this county commission meeting for the year of '09, there was a discussion of additional funds to buy property around Whiting Field.
The joint land use study acquisition of property adjacent to NAS Whiting Field. Everyone on this board and probably everyone in the audience understands for the last several years this county has partnered with NAS Whiting Field, Nature Conservancy, Florida Forever, DEP, Greenway and Trails, and the state of Florida seeking additional funds each year to continue to purchase land around Whiting Field to prevent residential encroachment. This year, through a grant application, we were awarded $200,000 to continue that initiative, and here again it would be for land acquisition around the base. So unless there are any questions, I would ask for this to stay on the agenda for Thursday without objection.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just a question. Have they identified a parcel that they're looking at this time?
Mr. Chairman, as we've talked in the past, over the years we have developed a land acquisition map with NAS Whiting Field and the Department of the Navy that shows all the properties that were identified through the joint land use study within a half-mile radius of the base and all the outlying fields. Working with Whiting Field, we have prioritized each one of those land parcels as the importance to the base as it pertains to accident potential zones, aviation easements, and those kinds of things. So as we continue to work with that map, with the prioritized pieces of property, we always, when we have the funds, we will contact landowners where we have willing sellers who will accept the current appraised value. Then that's the property we will purchase.
Is that the current, you have, there's no negotiation and those just, if they have appraised value as we see it?
I would refer to the county attorney.
As a certified appraiser sees it, or if the Navy's buying an easement, as the Navy's appraiser sees it.
If the owner wants to get an appraisal and it's different, how do we negotiate?
They can do that. So far there hasn't been any dispute on these property values around Whiting Field.
Well, there's a grant, a $200,000 grant coming in from the state to buy property around Whiting Field to prevent encroachment. And this is, I guess, added now to money we found out is coming from the Navy and expected to be coming from the state in future years to buy property that falls under other programs located around Whiting Field.
Yeah, and
there's all kinds of different funds out there to buy property around Whiting Field. Potentially $20 million. Potentially, we don't know that for sure yet.
Right, for the state.
The state and the Navy combined.
Right.
Yes.
And and look, I think, and there's a couple reasons that I support holding property in its natural form. A couple years ago, we looked pretty hard at, if you allow development on a piece of property, what it costs the taxpayer. And you know, there are some pretty big numbers being thrown around about property that we want to buy into the hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars. But I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at if this property is not put into conservation, and if it is allowed to have a high-rise, a hotel, or whatever on it, the direct cost to you winds up being phenomenal. Got to have the road, got to have the water, got to have the power, all the infrastructure, and all the things that come associated with that. I am really sold on the fact of putting as much land as we possibly can in conservation. Of course, the other reason is, well, actually I have three reasons. It does protect the military base. And, you know, I'd like for a tree or two to be left for my grandchildren to be able to go outside and say, well, look, Pawpaw, there's a tree.
Hmm.
So
We should point out that property around Whiting Field has already had it's subject to a special zoning process where they can't put high rises.
right.
There are restrictions on what you can do already on those properties.
Well, and that's good. I mean, some steps have been taken to help that. Looking at an article that's in the Pensacola News Journal, 2003, we were granted $400,000. 04 was $390,000. 05, $600,000. 07, $500,000. 08, they didn't get any money. And it looks like 09, as we're discussing, will be the 200.
Now, this is a specific defense infrastructure grant that we're talking about. It's a grant that happens every year, except for 08,
Right.
that the county applies for. And they received $200,000 this year, and that's going to be apparently applied to buying land around Whiting Field again. And this commissioners discussed that at Monday's meeting. They talked a little bit about that.
And of course that will be worked off of the master plan map there, where the different pieces and parcels
Right,
are laid out, and they'll determine the priorities
right.
according to what they have.
And we have confirmed, the Navy has confirmed, that regarding the money that they're putting in, the program that they're involved in, that buys land around Whiting Field, the Navy will take a look at the final appraisal prices for
Right.
those properties
Yeah.
around there. We
And-
talked about this a couple episodes ago.
Right, and just to follow up with our viewers, the Navy, in their statement, they're not saying that they're going to deal with landowners or anything like that. They are going to review it.
They'll review the final price.
Right,
yes.
and I think that one of the things that our viewers deserve from us is that once it's on a piece of paper before it goes to the Navy, you know, we're going to make sure that we ask to see that. And we're going to do a little price comparisons, as you've heard us talk about. And a matter of fact, I talked with the property appraiser a couple days ago. Property values are going down again in Santa Rosa County. And what might have been worth $6,000 an acre 6 months ago may not be worth $6,000 an acre now. And it's kind of a two-edged sword. I want us to get the most bang for our buck on this grant money and on the state money, but also want us to be fair to the direct taxpayers that are having to pay this. We should always be seeking out the best possible deal that we can when we're spending taxpayers' dollars.
I asked the state of Florida, the office who are going to be involved in overseeing this program, whether they expected to get bargain prices and whether they're going to be pursuing bargain prices on these properties.
And what kind of response?
Well, I'm still waiting. They're
Okay.
going to get back to me, and of course, then we'll get back to our viewers and let them know what the state thinks about that.